Hey friends, welcome back to Make Good Fashion, where we teach you how to start, launch, and grow impactful fashion brands. Today, I'm getting back into our wholesale series where I'm giving you tips and tools on how to get your brand into retail stores. So today I'm going to be teaching you about the difference between being represented by a wholesale showroom and then doing inside sales yourself. And I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons between the two so that you'll be able to make an informed decision about what works best for your brand. So let's start off with wholesale showrooms. So there's so many things to love about wholesale showrooms, but let me talk about what they are. So a wholesale showroom is basically a physical location. It's usually multi-brand, which means that it usually houses multiple brands. And in a wholesale showroom, buyers come to these showrooms to purchase different styles from the different brands for whatever season is coming next. And in a wholesale showroom, you have sales reps who will represent your line and present your collection to retail buyers. And this is different from inside sales in the way that if you are doing inside sales, that means that you're either hiring a sales rep or you are handling sales yourself inside your own headquarters, right? And so let's talk about the pros of having your brand represented by a wholesale showroom. So when you have your brand represented by a wholesale showroom, one of, I think, the biggest benefits to this is that they already have established relationships. And what this looks like is that usually wholesale showrooms have represented different brands throughout the year. So they start to establish and build relationships with different retailers. Every brand that they represent has a different offering. And so they're able to expand their reach in this way and build their network. And so it's great because if you really want to be in a certain store and maybe you haven't been able to get a hold of them on your own or find a buying contact for that store, you can be represented by a wholesale showroom that already has that relationship. And so that makes it easier to establish and introduce your brand to these retailers. And so I love that about wholesale showrooms because they already have a lot of what you need, right? And so I think one tip I have for people who are maybe looking to be represented by a wholesale showroom is to find a showroom that sells brands that are stocked in retailers that you want to be in, because that means that they already have a relationship with those retail stores and can, again, make that introduction easier to try to get your brand into those stores as well. Another pro about working with a wholesale showroom is that they have trained sales reps. And, wholesale selling, I think, is something, of course, that can be learned if you are trying to do it yourself. But I think there's something about having a set group of people who do this day in and day out. They represent brands. They know the art of negotiation. They know what the retailers are looking for. So they'll be able to give you feedback on, hey, this retailer that you want to be in, they're looking for this, this, and this. And this is how you can tweak your brand to get into the store. And so I think it's such a benefit to work with people who are trained sales reps and who have relationships, as I said before, with these retailers, and that can really give you some insight and negotiate favorable terms for you. Another pro about working with a wholesale showroom is that they handle all of the trade shows and all of that. And so if you're not familiar with what a trade show is, please look in our wholesale playlist and you will see videos about trade shows. But trade shows are a whole another monster and beast to do, and it's a lot of work. And so knowing that you have people who are taking your brand to the trade shows, who are setting it up and handling all the sales and all of the communication and can get you really valuable feedback is really helpful. Another pro to working with a wholesale showroom is that it gives your brand more credibility. I think retailers, especially in this day and age, really value brands that are credible and that are proven, right? And so I think when you are representing your own brand and you are just cold calling or emailing retailers yourself, they may think that you're just a small brand. They don't know if you have longevity, if you have anything really to offer. But when you have a showroom behind you that has proven success, it gives your brand credibility. And again, these retailers are more prone to wanting to work with you, wanting to hear from you, being curious about what you have to offer. And so that credibility is so important. So let's talk about the cons of working with wholesale showrooms. So one of the biggest cons I can think of when it comes to working with wholesale showrooms is that there are fees and commissions that you need to take in account of. Whatever this showroom makes for you in sales, they're going to take a commission. They're going to take a cut out of that. And then also showrooms usually charge you a fee for being represented by them. Every showroom is different. So there's not like one set base cost that I can tell you, but you really have to do your research. And when you find a wholesale showroom that you're interested in being in, really doing your due diligence to figure out what fees and costs are associated with being represented by a wholesale showroom. The next con that I would say is that you kind of lose control over how your brand is being represented and sold. Obviously, you can communicate with your reps and tell them like, this is what points you want to highlight in your pieces and all of that. But at the end of the day, they're going to display it how they want and sell it in the way that they deem most fitting. Also, wholesale showrooms are in specific locations, usually fashion hubs like LA, New York, and Paris. But then there's other places like Dallas that have showrooms and things like that. And so, sometimes you want to be able to access the showroom really easily, but then there's always communication over Zoom and things like that. So you can keep in touch with your reps. So it's not really a con, but it can be if you want to have more of an in-person relationship with your reps. And then another con, and I don't know if this would be considered a con, but something you should keep in mind. Wholesale showrooms are not always easy to get into. They're really looking for something specific, usually something they may be missing because they represent different brands, usually looking for niches that they think will have a lot of potential on the market or things that they've seen that do well in the past. And so you really need to come in when you are looking to be represented by a wholesale showroom and have something to offer. And so you want to do your research and see what brands they currently have and how you can bring something different to the table. Okay, so let's talk about inside sales. Hey friend, have you been curious about wholesaling your fashion brand? Well, I have some exciting news for you. We have an upcoming workshop called Unlocking Retail Success, 3 strategies for getting your fashion brand into retail stores. And it's just around the corner. In this exclusive workshop, we're diving deep into the strategies that will help you secure your brand spot on retail shelves. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand your reach, these proven tactics will pave the way for your success. Join us as we uncover the secrets to navigating the competitive world of retail, from building lasting partnerships to maximizing your brand's visibility. You'll walk away with actionable insights that you can implement right away. So don't miss out on this invaluable opportunity to unlock the doors to retail success. Reserve your spot now at makegoodfashion.com/wholesale or check the description for the link. Trust me, friend, you are not going to want to miss this. So inside sales, as I mentioned before, is you are basically handling sales from your headquarters, whether that be you personally or you hire someone to manage your wholesale business. That's what that would pretty much look like. And so when we think about pros and cons when it comes to inside sales, one of the pros is that you will not have to pay the commission and fees that are associated with working with a wholesale showroom. But if you hire someone, you will have to pay them. So just keep that in mind. And some brands that do handle sales in-house will pay their employees a commission as well. So sometimes it balances out depending on how much you're paying your sales rep and how much a wholesale showroom costs to be represented by one. Another pro when it comes to doing inside sales is that you have direct relationships with the retail buyers. So remember, when we are working with wholesale showrooms, the sales reps that work for the showroom are in contact with all the retail stores. So they're building relationship with the retail stores, and every wholesale showroom has different terms. So you have to figure out when you're working with a wholesale showroom if they will give you those contacts when you leave that showroom. Because maybe in the future, you decide that you no longer want to work with the showroom and you want to take the contacts of the retailers that they built relationship with. And so you have to see what that looks like. But with inside sales, you are working directly with the retail buyers and you can build those relationships directly. So that's definitely a pro because you don't have to rely on your sales reps from a wholesale showroom to give you feedback on what the buyers are saying, but you can have that direct line of communications with your buyers and build relationships in-house. The next benefit of doing inside sales is that you have control over how your brand is represented. You don't have to kind of conform to what trade shows the wholesale showroom is wanting you to do. You can do the trade shows that work for you. You can control how the brand is represented and all of that. And so that is one pro to doing inside sales. But overall, I think the main benefit of doing inside sales is that you're able to build those relationships directly with your buyer. It can be more cost effective, and you have more reign and flexibility over the terms that you negotiate and all of that. You don't really have to consider or be under submission to a wholesale showroom or anything like that. You have more of that flexibility. Now, here are some of the cons. Some of the cons is that it's kind of hard to build relationship with retailers when you are doing it independently without any relationships with retailers before. And as I said, in the pros for the wholesale showroom, they already have those established relationships, so it's easier for them. If you were trying to get these, as an independent brand by yourself, it can be really difficult and challenging. And so that is one of the cons. Another con is that it is very time consuming. So if you are someone who owns a brand and you want to start wholesaling, and maybe you don't have the funds to hire a sales team, it can be super time consuming. Sales is someone's whole job. And so for you to handle it yourself, it takes a lot of time out, whether it be to research different retail stores to be in, to prepare for trade shows, to do outreach and follow up. It's a full job. And so a lot of times this can take a lot of time over the other parts of your business that you want to handle. So I always recommend hiring someone, even if it's just an intern for a short time or someone part-time, to handle that sales portion of your business if you're really serious about stepping into wholesale. Another con is expertise. Again, as I said before, when you're working with a wholesale showroom, these people are trained. This is their day in, day out, is to do sales. And with a lack of expertise, you might not know how to negotiate certain things or how to navigate the whole wholesale world, which is why I'm here to help you. But it can be a con. And you can face a lot of trial and error by not having that expertise. So in conclusion, whether you decide to do inside sales or be represented by a wholesale showroom, they both have their pros and cons. And so you really have to think about what your business needs are, what your budget is, and what your hopes are for the future, and what method of doing this will work best for your needs and for your goals. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope this gave you something to think about so that you can decide how you'd like to go about selling your brand wholesale. And I want you to share in the comments what you think you'll go with. Will you sell your brand through inside sales, or do you think it may be more beneficial to you to sell using a wholesale showroom? Let us know in the comments. If this was helpful to you, please like this video and share it with someone that may find it helpful. And make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. I'll see you next time, guys.